Hey Berserkers, it's Krista Grady Saxon, Queen Berserker, and I am here to just have a real straight up conversation, me and you, about this whole AI stuff. I get so tired of seeing the few certain oh man, the thunder rolled on that one. I get so tired of seeing these trolls behind their computer like saying little things about AI. If you don't like it, that's fine. However, the AI we're referring to is tools that will help you advance your entire career as a filmmaker. In addition to saving on your budget, to making more movies a year. How would you like that? I mean, because right now you're making maybe one a year and you're fighting like hell to get money to fund those movies because you have to spend so much on the previous movie in order to get it done. And these are often bloated costs that are unnecessary. Why not mitigate all the risks that are associated with making a movie by knowing what you need and using the tools to make that happen? That's what we're going to talk about real quick. So you've been told that AI is a threat to your career, that embracing new technology will destroy filmmaking as we know it. That spans in the beginning of time. You know, cinema started with silent films. And when people came together to say, how about we put sound in movies, voices, telling stories, showing the actors performing, and we hear them speak. Everything was a pushback at that time. That was the craziest idea known to man, or at least the world of cinema at that time. Same thing happened with black and white movies. Then it went to home video. Home video will destroy movies. This is all stuff perpetuated by the unions, by the producers, by the studios. And I'm talking about the executives that are with the studios and holding hands with everybody, the gatekeepers, so that independent filmmakers and people like you and I can't have any power in our hands to do what we love to do and be successful at it at the same time. I call bull on that because all of us have accepted this, not me, I'm not accepting it, but this title of starving artists. You guys, we don't have to, and it's a collective thing across the board with every filmmaker in the entire world. Nobody's made money on their independent films. And if anybody wants to argue with me on that, please provide the receipts, because in 25 years, I haven't seen anybody do that, okay? Maybe with a pre-sale. And that's when you have a connection and you guys have a little thing in common where you know an executive producer who works with the studios who gets you a pre-sale and it's going to be an ultra low budget, and then you break even. But I've not seen anybody in the history of movies make their movie and then go to sell it somewhere and get it streaming or put it out there and make bank on it. Just doesn't happen. And I'm sorry, directors, most of you guys do not have access to that information unless you own the movie, unless you funded the movie. It's under the executive producers, the film owners. It's kind of like HIPAA laws with healthcare. You can't access the data on your movie, even though you wrote it and you may have directed it, but you're hired to provide a service. And so that's when a lot of directors come to pitch movies to me, and I discuss that with them. And I'm like, okay, what has your movies made before? You want $1 million, but you've never made a feature film? Show me why that would be a good idea, okay? Why I shouldn't get investors to do something else with that money that could be much more profitable. Anyway, so we'll continue. The starving artist notion. What have you got to lose by embracing tools that will help save on your budget, save your money, provide you analytics and data so that you can get your movie out there and understand the box office numbers so that you can make the right decisions starting from your screenplay on your feature film? So let me go right here first. So I'm just going to ask you straight up. If you don't believe me and you've been working in this industry, can you pay your rent off your last movie? Were you able to pay your rent? Probably not. Are you surviving or are you scrambling? Are you continuously fighting for more work or to get funding to make your movie so that you can pay yourself for doing what you do and what you deserve to get paid for? Or is everything just, hey, this is not a problem for me, man, I'm making bank? We can even look at all the actors, the A-list actors in their films who have the so-called net worth. Everything's inflated, number one. And that's inflated for making them even more famous and successful, because it does work to say this about them. However, They're wealthy off of sponsorships. And if you don't believe me, ask Tom Cruise. You got movies like Top Gun and Mission Impossible. Look at all the brands that have donated and made him the action star that he is by paying them to wear their watches, to drive their cars, and to wear their shades. You can look at Charlize Theron, same thing. J'adore Dior. Same shit. And then Johnny Depp, of course, Dior as well. So we look at these sponsorships are in $25 million range just to represent that brand for a several year period. Okay, so let's go away from that. Actors, independent film actors, how have you guys been doing on paying your bills or even your car payment off of each gig that you work? How is that working out for you? All right, so let's move on from there. We got the industry brainwashing. The industry has conditioned us to believe that the old ways are what get us ahead. Audition, hope, repeat. It never ends. It's just this cycle. Shoot, wrap, and pray someone picks it up for you directors and producers and crew members. But meanwhile, the studios, the executives, and the unions, they are not playing by the rules that they're selling you. There's a reason for that. They use bleeding edge technology, number one. Data analytics, AI scheduling, predictive revenue tools, all of these things are going on behind closed doors. But they don't want to tell you this because why would they want you to have access to the same tools that they're using? Why would they want you to have access to the same tools they're using to make them the money that they're making off of their feature films? They don't. Okay, so right now they use AI, and I'm reading this right now because I wrote this down so that I would be able to just streamline this conversation because I don't want to keep videoing myself. I hate doing it. All right, so they use bleeding edge technology. They use AI right now to plan releases, to optimize their budgets, and lock in profits before the camera ever rolls. It's kind of like what I teach in the master course about reverse engineering your whole business plan so that you can go in knowing what are your technical specifications for the streaming platforms that you plan to stream your movie on. If you don't shoot it in that before you roll camera, you're screwed. So you have to have everything pre-planned out before you go into production even. And that's something we go into. But in 25 years, I haven't seen anybody essentially do that or, really have a solid plan. They just figure we'll get it done. People are going to love it based on the story, and then we'll get a distribution deal. Well, it doesn't work that way, unfortunately. But you're led to believe it does, so it's nobody's fault until you learn the hard way and you keep losing movies. And you're like, well, something's not working out here. Something's not happening. Then you got to keep hiring actors for free who work for free, and they're just hoping they're going to pick up their next gig, their next job will be paid or whatever, so they do it, and it's sad. So anyway, the unions are selling you fear. You watch SAG President Fran Drescher go on national television warning that AI will destroy the movie industry. Well, I'm sorry, I had to do that. Me too, I wasn't planning on doing that. But let's call it what it is. Fear propaganda. The fear isn't that AI will ruin the industry. The fear is actually that it's going to give you power. Just as they feared it with the streaming services and bringing movies to people's homes across the world. That changed the dynamic for theaters and the deals that theaters had with distributors and studios and executives, right? The sales agents, the middlemen, that's an issue for them. So, because when you have tools that automate your post-production, that will streamline your deliverables, which I just spoke about, and eliminate 80K plus of fake fixes. And I'm going to tell you something. Distributors don't make their money just off streaming your movie. They make the money off of making you do all this technical fixes that are required, that they tell you is required to pass the quality control process. They make thousands upon thousands off each film. They also bank on the fact that they know all the revenue on any movie in the history of movies is first in revenue. That is the majority of the revenue made off of movies. So when your movie's released, you got all those credits, right? They're seeing all the credits and all the people that have worked on that production, all the companies that involved, all the catering, all the restaurants, all the businesses that volunteered, that provided. That's a lot of advertisement. That's a lot of people involved. So distributors see all that. They know in the back of their mind, but they don't tell you. First in revenue is the most that a movie will ever see in the life of that movie, historically. Okay, we're going by on average here. So they know that the cast and crew are already the ones who are promoting and marketing the movie. But they'll ask to charge you, sign this contract, and we're going to take $30K marketing fee out of your first in revenue. That's because you've already done all the first in marketing with all your cast and crew who are on the red carpet and showing that movie. They're banking, right? They're banking. And then the movie owners, the investors who believed in the film, who believed in the team, who believed in everything, people like me, walk away with nothing or walk away with deficit in our first reports, then in our second quarterly reports, even though we've had projections provided by this distributor showing us what we are going to make per territory, what we're determined to make per territory. And then they do what's called Hollywood reporting, and they falsely report this back to us. So how is all of this working out for you? And if you guys, anybody doesn't believe me, call up a director friend and ask them, hey, what'd you make on your last movie? Can you provide me receipts? Call up an investor, an executive producer, any friend of yours and say, hey, what's up? What'd you make on your last movie? I don't care if it's an anomaly film. People argue me, well, Krista, like Terrifier and all these movies are anomaly films. And we had some of the same cast. Gino, you were in Terrifier, and you were in my movie, Nation's Fire, as well. So there's a connection with all of these freaking movies. And my movie, I hired an Oscar-winning, team to work on the producing side, and we just trusted them to do their job. And then I realized it was just they're pocketing money, providing jobs for friends. We had to give everybody in the whole state of California a job because of SAG. So SAG's creating jobs for everybody based off my budget, and then they leave the investors, the job providers, with absolutely nothing. And I'm like, bye-bye. So yeah, and that's why they run and they don't come back. And this is why you guys are in the cycle that you're continuously in, is because nobody takes care of the job providers. I mean, come on, you got to get real at some point. So distributors self-report. Okay, so on the post-production of Nation's Fire, we spent, it was $70K was the initial, and I got all the receipts for this. It's all in the master course. This is why I share all of this with everybody, so you can see for yourself. But, we post-production was $70K. Now, what if I told you I could provide you tools that will eliminate 90% of that post-production cost, so that you can focus on making your movie and taking some of that budget and paying your cast and crew. AI is not about replacing anybody. You still need spirit and soul to make any art that you make. There still has to be humans behind it. You still have the creative independence to do whatever the hell you want and make your movies how you want. It doesn't mean that we have to have like Chuck E. Cheese looking puppets taking over every scene in a movie and doing it that way. No, you're the creator. You do it however the hell you want. We provide you workflows with tools that line up together so that you can meet the delivery requirements and get it distributed yourself on the streaming platforms. This has been unheard of. That's why I want you guys to sign up for our courses and see what I've got, or anybody else. I don't even care. I just want filmmakers and artists to get out of this starving artist bullcrap that they keep you in for the life of your career. And that's what it is. And for some reason, people have accepted it and been like, well, yeah, almost like it's a cool thing. And if they see anybody making money in this industry by any means, there's a lot of animosity toward that. But you know what? The ball is in your court now because you have all these tools. So, because we look at it, I paid $80K. They told me we filmed in LA, and I said, how in the world, you guys, there's mountains in the scenes. This takes place in Florida. So why is there freaking mountains in the scenes? We're going to catch them. They're like, no, we won't catch the mountains. It'll be no problem. Well, sure enough, we did. And it was some major important fight scenes in the movie, and I wanted those scenes to be kept in there, but we had mountains in the background. So I said, okay, how much is this going to be? Well, in order to race all the mountains out through the post houses we worked with, they said it would be $70,000. So I can use my AI tools now, and I could just erase them out in the background, keep the high quality, layer workflows so that I can still pass the quality control, 4K, streaming platform, technical requirements, and do it myself. All right, so I can save time and money because our post-production process lasted 2 years on the movie. So now that we have like all these tools to do what we need to do, I don't understand what the backlash is, other than the fact that people are probably just misunderstanding what is available to you as a filmmaker. Okay, so who is actually making the money? Well, we know this. The spoiler alert is it's not the actors, it's not the crew, it's not the indie directors busting their soul for a 3% back-end deal and a non-disclosure agreement. Let me tell you something. Back-end deals don't exist, okay? The way SAG and the unions are getting the money is they're calling people like me and telling me to just send them money, wire them money. Even though the movie's in a deficit, they don't care. I've got the emails to prove that as well, okay? My conversations, people hate me because, you know, I'm so brutally honest at this point, but I'm sorry, that's who the fuck I am. I don't care anymore. And I'm tired of seeing my friends get screwed over. I'm tired of what happened to me because I look at my kids' future and everything was taken away because of a belief, stupid belief that I had at one time. The stupid rose-colored glasses that I was wearing, and it destroyed my life. And I'm not going to accept that from that distributor that we dealt with. And then once I learned everybody else that I know is in the same situation, I'm like, oh, hell no. All right, so the only people making the real sustainable money in this industry are the unions collecting dues, the executives writing each other's checks because they all share everything with each other only. They take from people like me and they share with each other. Oh, well, we got the same last name. There you go, bro. That's how it works, okay? And the distributors with zero oversight who send you a $2 royalty check over 3 years. Oh, yeah, that's what my distributor told me, by the way. I said, can I see the receipts directly from the streaming platforms, please? And do you know what she told me? Krista, shut up. I said, what did you say? And I did. I jumped over the desk at my house because I went off. That's just, I don't have no morals when it comes to my rage, and that's not acceptable to me. No bitch is going to talk to me like that. So I jumped over my desk, and sure enough, I ended up getting a ticket because I'm in Florida to go out to LA. And when I found out where her office was, it was located on top of a postal store. You know why? Because she hides, because she does this to everybody. And now if you can go on Facebook groups and see all these wonderful filmmaking groups and they show you who those distributors are, and it's pretty much every independent film distributor, majority, I'm going to say 99%. I don't know of any that have actually taken care of the filmmakers. So I've heard filmmakers say to me, oh, but Krista, we're getting a couple grand. You're getting a couple grand from your distributor after it's already been out and your budget was how much? A lot more than $2,000, but you are impressed by that? Yeah, that's how pathetic this is. So I just want to say, let's get out of that mindset. Let's understand that you can build an empire doing what you love, and you can support your family. You can build a life. You just have to not go by what all these other people are telling you to do. Okay. So anyway, so let's talk about why we're afraid to advance and why they actually want you to be. So, and I'm an executive producer. And as an executive producer who has sat with fellow executive producers, my business partner is an executive producer and he's $8 million in on movies, which is ridiculous. And has he seen money back? Nope. But he continues to do it because he's the ideal person. He just wants to be in movies. So it's like he wants to be famous. He wants to work with celebrities. He enjoys it. And I guess that's your thing. Hey, have fun. But, I talked about how directors are hired for a service often. Actors, same thing. You're hired for a service. So they don't have all this business information and business knowledge. But it's really important to have if you want to get ahead or stop, starving all the time. Like, who wants to starve? It's old. Anyways, so the film that you worked on, we know the distributor pays pennies if they report anything at all, and it's known to be Hollywood reporting. Look up the story of Forrest Gump. That movie's touted itself for being billions in the box office, and of course, when it came time to pay the back end that they owed the actual writer who had a contract, they said, "Oh, I'm sorry, we're in the negative." Give me a break. Anyway, so the people that you actually think are so powerful, most are broke, bitter, and burnt out. That's the bottom line. Because they continue to believe in something that's not real. But when you got people like me who speak on the truth and do what I do, I have nothing to lose. I don't give a shit. But if you do, then you're considered, you're blacklisted. And that's why everybody runs and gets afraid and is like, oh, Krista, that blonde, whatever it is they want to call me. It's fine, but I'm looking out for you. I'll fight for you. I hate predators. I got a problem with predators. You'll see that in my next video. And here's what you do need to know about me. I'm passionate about what I do. I'm a fighter. I'll get out on the street and fight. It doesn't matter. I'm not afraid of anybody or anything, ever. And I love talent. I have sat in casting rooms and watched talent perform, especially for my movie. And I have to turn around and walk out so nobody sees me cry. I don't want them to see that. That's how much actors, performers, singers move me. I love talent. I've watched artists sing in front of me. Same thing. I'm like, oh my God, I can't. Oh, where's the tissue? Because I love talent. I appreciate talent. I've been doing this all my life. I've been in movies since 2001. So I've won awards around the film fest circuit. I have met some incredible freaking people, but every one of them has such a story. And each of their stories has broken me in a way that brought me here right now, That's the way it is. I love us. I love us as artists, as creators, as talent, as what we do. I mean, there's something special about that, and you can't deny that. So the people that prey on that, that's sickening to me. It's like preying on a sort of innocence. No matter what type of movies you make, when people prey on you who are just believing in what you're doing and believing that you're touching an audience and believing in you're so happy and excited to be doing what you do, and then somebody takes advantage of that, I want to mess them up. I can't stand it. I just hate the people that prey on our love, the people who exploit our vulnerability, who use our hope and hunger against us. Because actors, too, are the most diabolical people I know. They're hungry. And they'll keep going because they believe. They just believe with such conviction. And they'll work for free because they believe in the people around them. They believe in the stories. We all do. And that's why we do what we do. And we don't realize at the time who these rotten predators are. And I think the predators, at the end of the day, don't really realize who they're messing with either. Because now we're coming to the time that it's over. Okay, that's my dog. So as an executive producer who's been in the trenches, who's read the reports, don't mind my dog, who's knocked on doors, who's traveled across states to get the truth, who's sat down and spoke with so many hundreds of filmmakers who've all got the same story of the business side of it, I'm here for a reason, all right? I have fought criminal distributors with no one backing me. I have attended premieres with my heart all in and nobody backing me, okay? Because they want to believe in a broken system and they want to look at me as the bad guy. But that always seems to be the way it goes. Somebody who gets abused by this predator who speaks out and wants to bash him, I'm the bad guy. But to me, I'm not. And nobody will ever convince me otherwise, ever. So that's why we're here. So just going to be clear. I am not quitting. I don't leave people high and dry. It's my time now. It's your time now. That's why I created Filmmaker Berserk. Any questions, feel free to write me. Any receipts or proof that you have of anything that you say against what I'm saying, provide images in the comments. I'd love to hear it. So thank you, Berserkers. And I hope that you sign up for the waitlist for our AI, Savage AI and filmmaking courses. And we got the Berserker streamers. And this is all about getting onto the streaming platforms with zero middlemen taking everything that you work so hard for. So check out the website, filmmakerberserk.com, and I will see you soon.